Hey guys, today I'm going to be comparing three brands of strings. There are three that I have used in the past. Those brands are Ernie Ball, Diodario, and Elixir. And a side note, I feel like I've finally made it to the top because some weirdo on Instagram sent me a direct message asking for nudes. And so I sent him a picture of this. Ha ha ha, me 1, weirdos 0. So yes, I have taken the strings off of 3 of my guitars so that I may compare the Diodario NYXLs, the Ernie Ball Paradigms, and the Elixir OptiWebs. They're all 10 gauge strings, and basically I'm not going to really get into the specs. You can find that stuff online if you're really concerned about the type of material, things like that. I am basically going to give you my opinion on the feel, and you can take it for what it's worth. I'll do a quick demo of all these strings and I'll give you my feedback. It should go without saying I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, but I usually use one of these 3 string brands on my guitars. So without further ado, let's go ahead and string up some guitars. For those of you who are curious, if you don't have locking tuners, you can just bring your string through the tuning peg like that. Give it a little bit of slack like this and kink it like so. And then when this part of the string, give it one wrap around the peg, clip off the excess, and as you'll see, get a nice even wind. That'll be a very effective way to keep your strings in tune. Alright, so all 3 guitars have been restrung. I've given them a couple days to kind of get broken in by playing them, of course. So I've never tried to compare strings before. I don't know if you'll be able to hear a significant difference or not, but I'm going to tell you about the feel of the strings and just my personal opinion after I go through these couple examples, and you can take it for what it's worth. I'm going to start with a clean tone and just kind of play a few different dynamic stylings, if you will, and I'm going to try and make it as neutral as possible using all the same exact amp settings and pickup selections on all 3 guitars. There will be a little tonal difference between the 3, but overall, let's see if we can hear a difference between these strings. What'd you think? I thought that the Diodario strings were definitely living up to their name. It was pretty standard, I would say. Nothing really stood out to me. It was a very neutral and right down the middle sound. I guess that makes sense because they're balanced tension. No coating on these. I could definitely feel the steel, the metal of the strings, and they felt real nice. The Paradigm strings definitely had a little bit more tonal character, I thought. They had kind of a trebly sort of resonant sound to them. I could definitely feel the advanced string technology. After all, they claim to be the most advanced strings in the world. So I did actually feel that durability, and it didn't really have any effect on how I played. For that technology to exist and not really affect the tonal character is pretty cool. That was still kind of just a regular feel as far as the string itself goes. And then finally, moving on to the elixirs here, the OptiWebs, which is the newest offering, I think, from Elixirs. I really like the coating. Some people don't like the coating at all. They say it comes off and then your strings are all rusty. I've never had that problem. And I really also thought that the tone was really crisp and smooth sounding. Oh, look at this. It actually says crisp on the as a description for the OptiWebs, so pretty accurate, I would say. I will say the coating on the OptiWebs is a little bit less than the Polyweb or NanoWeb elixirs that I've used in the past, so could be a compromise for you if you want to try them out. So now what I'm going to do is kind of just improvise in a certain key and try and blend these improvisations together and see if we can feel a difference. I'm going to basically just riff. I'm not really going to play the same riffs over and over again, but I want to demonstrate how the strings affect my playing. Just kind of go off the cuff and see what happens and see if you can hear any difference in, again, the tonal character or in the licks that I choose, the bends, whatever you're looking for. Let me know in the comments what you look for in a string. That was pretty fun. If I had to rank these strings, I'm probably going to continue relying on elixirs as my main choice of string. The Paradigms are cool. I'm definitely going to see if I can break them. Apparently nobody can break them. Although those videos, it didn't really seem like they were trying to break the strings, did they? And finally, the NYXLs round out the bottom. But I really think the NYXLs and the Paradigm strings were very comparable. And honestly, I would be happy using any of these string brands. They all feel really good. It's really about the longevity, which I've always kind of come back to the elixirs. They've always lasted long and not gotten rusty or anything like that. So with that said, let me know again what kind of strings you like to use and what you look for in a string. Regarding string gauge, I didn't really get into that, but I'm pretty meat and potatoes, 10 gauge across the board. I did have 9 gauges on my SC245, but I bumped it up to 10 because it was feeling weird when I would switch back and forth between guitars. So I am 10s across the board. I have had 11s on my Fender Strat, so that is something just to get that kind of meatier Stevie Ray Vaughan sound. But overall, I don't really play in any alternate tunings or anything like that, so I kind of keep it basic when it comes to the string gauges. If you want to keep it basic and just hone your technique, I would just stick with 10s. So I hope this was a fun video to watch, helpful maybe, and maybe give you some food for thought on what kind of strings you're going to look for next. Until next time, keep shredding.